One of my reasons of being here minus this is that I should come and ask Nyesom Wike. This position of chairman had been zoned to Rivers State, chairman of Ohaneze. Nyesom Wike, the Igbo side should ask you, what is your interest?
I have no doubt that everyone in this room will love to see Ohaneze Ndigbo attain a bigger clout as the champion of Igbo interests.
Because it is now very clear that if we don't solve our problems ourselves, nobody will solve our problems for us.
Election was held on the night that culminated into the early hours of 10th of January 2025. In 2017, the Ohaneze elections were held in Enugu because the President General coming from Enugu, who emerged from Enugu, Chief Nyawodo, is from Enugu, and the election was held in Enugu. In 2021, it was the turn of Imo State to produce the President General. The election was held in Imo State. In 2025, it is the turn of Rivers State to produce the President General. The election was held in Port Harcourt. The election was concluded in the wee hours of 10th of January 2025. I, Dean Uche Okwukwu, former Secretary General Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, I emerged victorious in that election.
Mr. Okwukwu,
I don't know about any election that was held in Government House in Enugu.
Good evening, viewers. This is BVI Channel 1, and we are live on Matters Arising. Tonight, it's our pleasure to bring you back again live on this program to expatiate on the Ohaneze politics, the politics of Ohaneze and Ndigbo, following the recent election that took place that actually saw two wonderful gentlemen, as some people may call it, Barrister Uche Okwukwu emerging as the president of Ohaneze and Ndigbo in the 10th of January election, which took place at Port Harcourt. Since that very election, there had been some kind of controversies because some set of people, the political class, as some people may call it, had another election that held on the same day in Enugu, where you can see the likes of the governors of the Southeast in attendance in that very election. And also we saw some other religious leaders and all of those political class. And some people said this election should be likened to what they call Ohaneze and the politicians. Okay, now today it is our pleasure to bring the one of the presidents, okay, that have emerged from the two elections of Ohaneze to make some clarification, because last time there are questions that arose that needs his clarification, and today we are happy that he's seated with us tonight on today's program. I'm talking about no other person than Barrister Uche Okwukwu, who is joining us virtually this evening, and we'll be bringing him on alongside other guests. Okay, we have a guest that is joining us from Philippines, and also we have a guest that is joining us from Oka. So all of these, we're going to dissect some of the very pertinent questions, and also you as an Igbo man, to tell us your own observation, your feeling, and where you can pledge your loyalty. Truly, who do you trust from among the two presidents of Ohaneze and Ndigbo that will represent the interest of Ohaneze and Ndigbo, and why you have that opinion? All of that is what we're going to be deliberating tonight. First of all, I'm going to be bringing in my guest, the prime guest as we have it today, Barrister Uche Okwukwu. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on tonight's Matters Arising. We may just quickly unmute you so that you'll be able to speak to our audience tonight. If you can unmute yourself, but if you can't, let me just quickly unmute you from here so that our guest can hear you properly. Hello, Barrister. Good evening. I believe you can hear me now, and you can speak up. Hello, Barrister.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Yes, I can. I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay, I'm not hearing you yet.
I'm hearing you clearly.
I hope to hear you. I think. Okay, now I can hear you. Go on.
You've not asked me any question.
No, as a way of introduction, we just wanted to get to know you.
I'm Uche Okwukwu. I am from a community called Elele in Ikure local government area in Rivers State.
Yes,
you heard me?
The line is breaking. Yes, I heard you, but the line is breaking. Okay, it's all right. I think our guests, other guests are here as well. That is Barrister Uche Okwukwu. We also have in our studios another guest that will be introducing himself very, very shortly so that we can start up earnestly. All right. Hello, Doctor. Good evening. Joining us from Philippines. You can introduce yourself very briefly so that we can start the business of the day.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. How do I? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, and our guests can hear you, and our global audience can also hear you. Go on.
Okay, I'm Dr. Nwankwoto Nimwezigwe, the Odogu of Ibuzo in Oshimiri North local government area of Delta State. I'm currently resided at Metro Manila, Philippines. I'm the President International Coalition Against Christian Genocide in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm bringing the third guest joining us this evening. Ndigbo and Enugu have always been here to represent the voice of the ordinary people. Now, Ndigbo, to you, please.
Yeah, my name is Ndigbo and Enugu. I'm based in Anambra State, Oka precisely. I am Ambassador General of Good Governance Ministry. Greetings to our people all over the world. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, we'll be going back to Barrister Uche Okwukwu. And for those of you who are watching, this is live and we are broadcasting from all our social media platforms. We are streaming live on our Facebook. We are streaming live on our Instagram. We're also streaming live on our YouTube backup channel. That is BVI Channel 1 Plus. You can join us from all of these. You can drop your comment to let your opinion known. And also, you can call the numbers on the screen to air your opinion in case you want to ask questions or make contribution with respect to what we're talking about this evening. Now, to Barrister Uche Okwukwu, thank you for joining us this evening. Tell us about the election that took place on 10th of January 2025.
Yeah, the election that took place in Port Harcourt, which under pursuant to our tradition, convention, and constitution of Ohaneze, Port Harcourt is the rightful venue, just like Enugu was the rightful venue in 2017, and Owerri was the rightful venue in 2021. The election that took place in Port Harcourt had in attendance, participating, delegates drawn from the Ohaneze 7 states and the diaspora who were able to make it. And the chairman of the electoral committee and returning officer was Dr. Achi. The election was held and returned officers.
All right. The election that we're talking about, how come there is another election that was held in Enugu subsequently on that same day, where we saw the likes of the governors being there?
The election that was held in Government House Enugu, the election that was held in Government House Enugu was brought to my attention by Arise Television. And of course, I cannot say what I don't know. As I've always said, I was not in Enugu. I'm neither in mystics nor into the occult sciences. So I cannot explain what happened in Government House. And with the greatest respect, no time in our history had we conducted or held election of Ohaneze Ndigbo in a government house.
Okay. Now, if that is the case, let us delve into because as we, yes, can you hear me? I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly well.
I'm hearing you,
all right,
sir.
Now,
I said I'm hearing you,
let
sir.
us now delve in. All right, let us delve into the politics of Ohaneze Ndigbo and how come we've been able to see factionalization of Ohaneze. Today we now hear about 2 presidents of Ohaneze Ndigbo, one emerging from Enugu and one emerging from Port Harcourt. And today, what is your position about the unity of Ndigbo? We've seen this factionalization happening even at the apex socio-political organization of Ndigbo. And the same thing is also applicable to many Igbo organizations. What is your take on that, and what could be the root cause?
It is important to you put on record for record purposes that there are three of us today are claiming to claiming access to control of the office of the President General. You have Jackson Women as whose own election was on the 6th of January in Enugu. You have Senator John Umbata, who claimed he emerged from the election in Enugu. You have also myself, who rightfully claimed that I emerged in the election which complied with our constitution, tradition, and convention that emerged from Port Harcourt. But the question you asked me is very, very important. I believe that what is happening today is a threat to the unity of Ndigbo, particularly Ohaneze Ndigbo. But you will agree with me if you have Googled me and read about me that I have put in 30 years of my life to Igbo cause and Igbo unity. For avoidance of doubt, please Google me. In 1995, I was the first legal advisor of the Eastern Nigerian Student Association. In 1997, I was the country director of the United Kingdom-based organization called ENDOA, the Eastern Nigerian Delta Unity Association, led by Chukwudumikazo and Ekie from Bayelsa. In the year 2000, I emerged as first director of legal services and national legal advisor of the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra. In 2001, I traveled with Odumegwu Ojukwu, Wazirika, and others to United States to open the Biafran House and the Voice of Biafra International VOP in Washington, D.C. In 2004, I attended the International Conference on Biafra in Düsseldorf, Germany. And then that same year, I was at the United Nations Human Rights Commission in Switzerland to present the case of Biafra to the world. The documents I had were prepared by
the Equinch organization based in Chicago. And I got accreditation to the United Nations from an organization based in Germany, in Göttingen, called the Society for Threatened People. And in 2005, I was arrested for treason with Uche Namado and others, and remained in detention, both at the underground detention facilities of the DSS, Suleja prison, and Kefi prison, where I regained my freedom. In 2010, I was given an award, presented with an award by the Imo Mass Movement for my fearless defense of the rights of Ndigbo in the world. In 2015, the Ohaneze Ndigbo Youth Council conferred an award on me, which was presented to me by the late Chukwemeke Zife, former governor of Old Anambra. Before then, in 2004, the Igbo National Council, INC, conferred an award on me. In fact, when they conferred that award on me, I was in Europe, moving about, talking about what concerns our people. In 2017, I emerged the Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide. I have spent 30 years of my life, 1995 to 2025, to the cause of our people, the unity of our people. I'm irrevocably committed to the cause of Igbo unity and Igbo emancipation. But the question you asked me is very, very key. What I believe is the greatest challenge to Igbo unity is internal injustice and internal inequity. If we decide to do what is right, I believe that the Igbos will be more united. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Now you've highlighted
Yes,
some. Yeah, of course,
sir.
very much. We heard you very clearly. Now, Barrister, we've heard your intimidating profile, your journey, your history in the struggle for the Igbo nationhood. Now, you made mention of your election as the Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, which the claim coming from the other end, the other faction of Ohaneze today, is saying that you never picked the form to contest for the election, and also you were suspended from Ohaneze Ndigbo as the Secretary General. So today they are saying that you moved out from the main body to form another faction. How true are these accusations? We would like to find out.
My brother, thank you for this opportunity this night. I've repeatedly answered questions in this direction in the past. One, I was elected Secretary General. Then in 2018 precisely, and for avoidance of doubt, the records are available. You can ask even from the worst of my foes and political enemies and detractors. The former president of the country, the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, met with Igbo leaders and told them that he understands that they are pained because the Southeast has 5 states, and some regions have 6, some regions have 7. That he will remedy that injustice or imbalance. That we should go home and get him an additional 1 state that he will create to remedy that imbalance by giving the Southeast an additional state. He also called Yoruba leaders and said he understands their problem, their plight, their pain, that should Abiola election was annulled and Abiola died in detention. He will heal the wounds. He will recognize Mushood Abiola as former president and confer on him the highest honor in the land, which is GCFR. We came back to Ohaneze. A committee of the whole house was constituted. That committee was chaired by Professor Chigozie Ogbu from Ebonyi, who was then the Vice President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, represented Ebonyi. Also then, he was the incumbent Vice Chancellor of the Ebonyi State University. The committee of the whole house, we received petition demands. People who wanted state, 18 of them came forward. At the end of the day, the committee of the whole house found merit, convincing one that Aba State was the most preferred. We recommended Aba State. The former President General then, Chief Nyawood, was not comfortable with that recommendation. He quarreled with everybody that he preferred Adada State, which is in Nsukka State. He never submitted a report of that recommendation to either to the EMOB or to the Governor's Forum or the Presidency. That report, I'm sure you've seen it. That report today is in abeyance, did not see the light of the day. That is the height of injustice by an Igbo man against Ndigbo. Nobody has talked about it. Then another issue was in 2019. Odo wanted Atiku. And I stood up and said, no, it was not in the interest of Ndigbo that Atiku should be supported. At best, we should be neutral, but if we must adopt a candidate who should support Buhari, I predicated my argument on 5 fundamentals. 1, Buhari is a Fulani, Atiku is a Fulani. Buhari is a Northerner, Atiku is a Northerner. Buhari is a Muslim, Atiku is a Muslim. 2, Buhari was going to end his tenure in 2023. If Atiku resumes office in 2019, he will end his tenure in 2027. 3, to defeat an incumbent president with a military background in Africa was a very difficult one. Very difficult. 4, the Igbos have not ruled Nigeria since after the war. The Yorubas have ruled. Obasanjo was there for 8 years. The South, Jonathan was there for 6 years. The North was already in power. It was in our interest to allow the North to complete their 8 years and power will return to the South so that we can negotiate for power. That did not go down well with the likes of Wood. He went ahead the day Buhari came to commission Zik Musluni in Onitsha to adopt Buhari, to adopt Atiku. And I vehemently opposed it. I adopted Buhari because it was in the interest of Ndigbo that Buhari should finish his tenure and power should return to the South. My brother, record me for avoidance of doubt. If that situation occurs today, that same situation, given the facts on the ground, I will adopt Buhari. I have no apologies and no regret for it. Thank you.
All right. Now, with respect to that suspension, was that suspension valid? Were you back again on the main fold of the Ohaneze, which you were bona fide Secretary General, and subsequently after that tenure till now? Because people are looking at, based on your resume and your, somebody said you had this Biafra-centric background that this political class are not comfortable with. Could it be part of the reason why the conspiracy to make sure you didn't emerge the president of Ohaneze from their own faction? Because they said you moved away from the main Ohaneze body. Could that be the case? And also the issue of politicization of Ohaneze and Ndigbo, the danger ahead. Do you believe that it is not right for the political class to be in total control of Ohaneze and Ndigbo as we have today?
I'll go straight to the first issue, which is very, very important. 1, my brother, you are a journalist. You are one of the custodians of the 4th realm of the estate, and I'm sure you have the constitution. The process to suspend a national officer, particularly the Secretary General, is a complicated one. So there was no valid suspension of Uche Okwukwu. The NEC cannot suspend Uche Okwukwu as Secretary General. I don't want to dwell in the past. I have said time without numbers that I don't want to bother myself with things that never existed in law. And in fact, I was not suspended, given the facts and given the law. But assuming without conceding that some of them say, oh, you are suspended. Please, I refer you to the Bishop's report of 2021. Following the crisis in Ohaneze, all the bishops in Igbo land constituted a committee called the Conference Conference of Bishops and Archbishops. That committee was headed by Archbishop Chukwuma of the Ecclesiastical Diocese of Enugu, the Anglican Diocese, and then Bishop Okwukwu of the Methodist Church was secretary. They took about 2 months to hear us out. It was a mediation and intervention committee. My brother, what will shock you is that in 2021, the bishops recommended in black and white, I'm sure you have seen the report, that I, Uche Okwukwu, should be sworn in as Deputy President General. They cleared me of all blemish. I'm talking of the bishop's report, and recommended that I should be sworn in as Deputy President General. It's in black and white. Please, you can reach Bishop Okwukwu of the Methodist Church. You can call Bishop Chukwuma of the Anglican Diocese of Enugu. I can send the report to you this night. The report, as you are in the studio now, the report will be sent to you. And the report with you. Send the report to them immediately. Now, why I say this is that you call a dog a bad name to kill him. I am an independent-minded person. I'm an independent-minded person. I'm objective and pragmatic. I love Igbo nation. My DNA is Igbo. My dream is Igbo. My blood is Igbo. Google me and read. I have not only been consistent that Ikwere are Igbos. I have written more articles than anybody dead or living in Ikwere land that were Igbos. I have put in my time, my energy, my intellect that I'm an Igbo man. And I want to tell you, for record purposes, the governors are members of Ohaneze. Ohaneze does not belong to them. They are members of Ohaneze, just like you and I, and my brother from Philippines. Welcome, my brother from Philippines. I had the opportunity of talking once with him. They are members of Ohaneze. The impression they are giving today is that Ohaneze belongs to them, and they will be the only ones that will bring officers. And that is the bane of Ohaneze. I have said that they are members and they contribute. Yes, they contribute perhaps more than other people because they're richer. They're holding state funds is in their custody. They're holding it as trustees of the people. But the truth is that they are members of Ohaneze, and Ohaneze should be independent of the governors, independent of the rich people in our society. If we don't get it right that way, Ohaneze will not be a mass movement, which is supposed to be. Two, I know Ohaneze, Ohakano, Ohakeze, Ohuneze Koha. Ihe anyị nweziri na awụ ọha ka eze na ala Igbo. Ihe ọ dị mete ewu ọha na eze ọwụ ihe anyị nwere. Yes, people have said I'm a pro-Biafran activist. I have no apologies and no regrets for that. I strongly believe in a negotiated country. I believe that this country should be negotiated. I believe in exploiting internal mechanisms. Internal remedies should be employed. If we go for a discussion and we agree that this country should break up, it should break up. Russia is broken up. Yugoslavia is broken up. In the United Kingdom, the people that colonized us and left us, Scotland is allowed to go to referendum. Some countries in the world, Ethiopia and others, have included right to secession in their constitution. So I'm a non-violent advocate of Biafra. I believe that we should be allowed to have in our constitution the right to secession. In fact, the Court of Appeal in Kenya have ruled that agitation for secession is not a criminal offense. It's not a crime against the state. So far, the agitators are peaceful. So if they are afraid that I'm a pro-Biafran activist, given my background and my record, I don't have any apologies. And I will continue to advocate that if the Igbos want to pull out of Nigeria, they should be allowed. So far, they follow the procedure non-violently and peacefully. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. We have exhausted your questions very accurately. Now it's time for us to bring in our brother, Dr. Nwankwo, who is joining us from Philippines this evening on this program to bring in his own, view about the entire turnout of event in Ohaneze and Ndigbo. Dr. Nwankwo, it's my pleasure to have you on Matters Arising tonight. You're joining us from Philippines. So, Doctor, give us your own insight about what you know
Thank you very
in
much,
Ohaneze
my
and
brother.
Ndigbo. What has played out? How do you react to the entire thing that has played out so far in Ohaneze and Ndigbo?
Thank you very much. And let me start by appreciating my brother Uche. We've been friends on the field, and I fully commend his sacrifices to the cause of Igbo land. We knew on the field, not just in the course of the struggle for Igbo interest that we met. So I totally align myself with his presentation, even though I have my own variation as an independent person. But let me start by saying that I've always argued the fact that the Igbo are the enemies of themselves. And whenever I stated such, some feeble-minded people will accuse me of, oh, you are anti-Igbo, you are Igbo hater. I said, no. This is, you must begin by self-criticism. If you are afraid to criticize yourself, then you don't have the moral right to criticize others. The position we have today is an exhibition of oligarchic recklessness on the part of those who are governors. I've always advocated for those who witnessed the way I attacked later Emmanuel Iwanyang during his attempt to, to seek, of course you are aware, during his attack to seek apology from this. I made it clear that Ohaneze, as it stands today, needs reform, especially electorally. If we want to adopt the Yoruba pattern or that is the Afenifere pattern, then there must be some elders who should constitute and elect themselves, define members. Today, Ohaneze has no defined members. Everybody is a member. And there are no defined means of electoral procedure. I can walk into an Ohaneze election and say, "Oh, I want to be elected an Ohaneze man. I want to be elected. I want to vote," and nobody will stop me. It is not. It is not hairy for Igbo unity. For us who are historians, we knew how and why the old Igbo Union, Igbo State Union, how it operated, that made it a powerful union. That when the President General, like Zesi Obi of Nnewi there, when he made a statement incidented by the National Executive Council, he stands firm. The reason was that the then Igbo State Union was a grassroots representation. From village unions to town unions to divisional unions to provincial unions and then to the national executive. So when you are there, you know you are representing your people. You know you are accountable to your people. In the case of Ohaneze, where the governors will just see them because they have the money, they can just they have the power, they have the influence. They just say, "Look, your Ohaneze," it cannot work. And that also portends many dangers because people like us will not allow someone like Mbata, Senator Mbata, who we know was imposed on the people by governors to decide our fate in. from me, it was from our board division that they were now shifted to River State. So for people to say, oh, because you had Egbema in Imo State, it was ridiculous. So I believe that the situation now cannot work. It didn't work. Modo didn't claim to have the ear of the majority of the Igbo people because he was pursuing selfish interests. Obi also, and what is it also? Iwanyam also. They were not representing the interest of the Igbo masses. They were representing the interest of a special class that are often ready to align with the Fulani. And if you check all the governors of Southeast, they are all moribund minded. Even those who claim to be learned men, they don't have the fine ideological focus like their counterparts in Southwest and North. So I believe that first of all, the Ohaneze Ndigbo has to be restructured in a manner that there is the leaders. It means that it is a combination between the leaders and the led. It is a consensus meeting, organization of the led and of the leaders and the majority of the people. But what we have now is just Eze. The Oha are not there. And you find that the governors have always been, the other time I presented a letter written by the then president of Maeti Allah. The letter he wrote to President General Nwodo, telling him that he should select somebody who is malleable to Fulani people. I presented, nobody challenged the letter. Nobody challenged the letter. Now the point is that what happened was that the Fulani oligarchy actually and the ruling class oligarchy felt that somebody like Uche Okwukwu or someone like Isuguzoro his man or whatever will not be malleable to their ideas. So they needed somebody who will be responsible to the governors. So Senator Mbata is only responsible to the governors who appointed him and not to the people. A responsible leadership like the Southeast Governors Forum, the first thing they should have done is to bring unity to the Igbo ethnic group before the election. You don't undermine the capacity of even a fowl, because a fowl can cause you problem, insurmountable problem. Before this president election, there were already two factions. One led by Isiguzoro, and then one led by Hope Uzodimma, where he appoints Ohaneze President Generals as he appoints his commissioners. The first thing they should have done is to see, look, what is happening? Let us bring these people together. Why are we always having factions? Does it care if it had two factions? Except Raf Uechua, and so on and so forth. So let us go back and look at it. So we have a problem of Igbo leadership, and that is why the present crisis in the Southeast persists, because you have leaders, governors, politicians whose interests are predicated on their selfish interests. Selfish and vainglorious. They're only thinking about their names and what they do. They're not thinking about the collective interests of their people, about the future of their people. Because if they thought so, the present persistent insecurity in the Southeast, especially now, Anambra is taking over from Imo State, shouldn't have been there. A whole state like Anambra, which is a part of Igbo land, which is center of inspiration for the Igbo people, to degenerate into such a level is very, very pathetic. The other time, my friend in US, Dr. Ndigbo from Newe, asked for, ask somebody, ask for somebody, with him. since he would not like to employ a Fulani or a Muslim, we could not get somebody from Middle Belt, free accommodation, everything, just nobody. There is they don't want to be killed.
Okay.
This is what is happening. So we speaking, I don't care who is there. If you speak anything that goes against the interests of Igbo people, we'll return it back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother, for that very insightful commentary. And it's now time for us to open up our line. Some of you who have called, you can call back and we'll take your call, first call in, first peak. All right? So the numbers to call remain +234 810 533. While we take the calls, let me quickly take some of the commentaries, and that is going to the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo right here, Barrister Uche Okwukwu. The people wants to know your programs for Ndigbo in the next couple of years, maybe 2 years. Okay, what's your plan for Ndigbo? They would like to know your plans for Ndigbo and other very important issues bordering around security. Security, the economy of Ndigbo, how it's going to be revamped again, and also the unity and expansion of Ndigbo. What are all your plans and the independent funding source for Ohaneze Ndigbo, which is very crucial. Let us quickly have your response on these issues very quickly. It's coming from some of our viewers. That's for you to respond to. Can you hear me? But, all right, the people, viewers, one of them said they want to know your plan. No, I can hear every one of you. I can hear. So go on, Barrister, go with your response. Then we want to know for the next 2 years, especially around the issues of economy, the unity we've already mentioned, but also expand on it, and also independent source of funding for Ohaneze Ndigbo. What are your plans?
Without a peace, every other thing is just ground zero. We will demand, and I want to work with all of you, particularly those of you in the forefront of the state, journalists, very good friend in the Philippines. Please, you have to do a lot of work talking to our people in the weapons. The armament must take place. Reorientation, we have to reorientate them. We have to rehabilitate them. We have to integrate them into the society. There is no country in the world where non-state actors are armed and there will be peace. If we get to that point, we have to equally disarm vigilantes and constitute a proper vigilantes with the support of the town unions and the government at different levels. And of course, the role of the vigilante is to arrest people who commit crime and hand them over to the civil police, because under our law, you cannot prosecute, you cannot punish as a vigilante. That's very clear law. Now, if we achieve that in reason Nnamdi Kanu is released, those who are hiding under the canopy of our brother Nnamdi Kanu is in detention and committing crimes, we don't have any other reason to do that. That is very key and important. So the first condition precedent is that he has to come out of detention. And he must, and I use the word, he must accept to be an apostle of peace himself. Now, the second thing I want to work with all of you for Igbo unity is that we must bring in our brothers and sisters into the Ohaneze family from Edo, from Benue, from Kogi, and Benue states. Today, I'm an Ikwere. I'm on the fringe of the Igbo nation. I'm an Ikwere in River State. I have the right to vote and the right to be voted for because we are recognized as Ohaneze member states. Therefore, our people in these states we come in, it will show the world that Igbo land is big, not as small as we have been presented to Nigeria and the international community. The third thing we must do is that we have to remove the management of Ohaneze money from the National Executive Council. Our Secretary General, as I'm talking with an insight, we have to put it in a board of trustees, credible board of trustees, selected by our people in the General Assembly, those who hold our money, so that the NEC, if they want to spend money, they will apply just like the National Assembly apply, the President applied to the National Assembly, and the governors apply to the House of Assembly, so that the abuse of Ohaneze funds will be eliminated or reduced to the barest minimum. The fourth thing we need to do, and it's very, very important, is that we have to make Ohaneze a people's property, the commonwealth of the people. Reduce the influence of those who bring money to Ohaneze, because their argument is that we bring all the money and they will have to control Ohaneze. I had proposed earlier when I spoke to Uche television that for you to be a member of Ohaneze, you must be willing to pay 400 naira per annum, which is 100 naira quarterly. I think that we can comfortably generate millions and billions of naira into Ohaneze by ensuring that our people in their millions join Ohaneze and they are willing to pay 400 naira. Why I say this is that if we do that, we reduce the influence of people whose only desire to control Ohaneze is that they come in with all the money. I'm not saying that the rich amongst us, the governors, the House Assembly, National Assembly, and so on, big men cannot bring money. But membership will be 400 naira. If you bring 400 naira, a member per annum, you can contribute whatever thing you have. Just like in a church, if they're doing building projects, they say church members pay 50 naira. Members pay 50 naira. Those who are rich among them can bring 1,000 naira or more. By this, Ohaneze will become the property of the people, the patrimony of the people, and the commonwealth of the people. And will eliminate this undue influence and undue control of some sections of our society. Now, the fifth thing we must do, we must amend our constitution. What frightened me is I was moving around campaigning. I met some people, very respected persons, particularly some traditional rulers, they don't have a copy of the Ohaneze constitution. And some persons too, big people you respect, including the educated, don't have a copy of the constitution. We will amend our constitution to cover the areas that are not properly covered. And then we will translate our constitution into Igbo language so that those who cannot read and write in English can have the constitution. If we can have our Bible, Akwụkwọ Nsọ in Igbo language, and have the hymn in Igbo, our Ohaneze constitution can be in Igbo language so that everybody can have access and read it. Now, the sixth or the fifth thing we must do, we must create a constitution that is an electoral, a statutory electoral body in the constitution. The constitution leads. Yes. A situation where very close to the election, you constitute an electoral committee is part of the problem we have. The electoral committee is midwifed, controlled by whoever constitutes it. We are going to have in the constitution a statutory electoral committee which will last for, say, 5 to 7 years. Now, that electoral committee will be made up of credible Igbos who will be screened and subject to proper scrutiny by the General Assembly, so that the electoral committee of Ohaneze will be men of impeccable character, drawn from retired permanent secretaries, seasoned lawyers, seasoned civil rights activists who have conscience to do the right thing. If we have a credible electoral body that will midwife elections to elect people persons into the electoral, the Ohaneze NEC and the state electoral committee at the state level and Ohaneze executive at the LGA level, I'm sure that the problem we have today will be eliminated. Problem will be no electoral body that is what is onions will allow election to be held in government house. First, that the fact that you chose to hold the election in the government house of a state casts doubt in the credibility of the entire electoral process. No electoral body. It's like tomorrow we hear that Ashwaju, the INEC is sitting in Asorok to announce the presidential election, or we hear that the resident electoral commissioner in the state is sitting in the government house to announce who becomes the governor. That election is from that point discredited. Venue is very important in an election. Venue is very, very important in an election. Why do you expect people to come to election in government house, for example? And it is, I don't want to let me not speak and appear as if I'm speaking against some people, what they have done or what they intend, what they have done in the past. But Ndigbo must rise up and own Ohaneze. It is the property of Ndigbo. Ohaneze was not founded by the present generation. Ohaneze is an offshoot from the Igbo State Union, which was established in 1939. 1939 to now is going to about 90 years or 80 years or thereabout. So the point I make, sir, is that you are in the fortress of the estate, you're a journalist, come out and let us work together. Everybody must come together. Ohaneze is the property of Ndigbo, not the property of you persons. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, my brother and the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo. For those of you who are still watching, we are live on Matters Arising. You can drop your comment on the comment section. We're going to take your call. And also, you can also take your call from the numbers you're seeing on the screen, +2348104545533. And I think it's about time for me to bring in Ndubisi and then to make his own submission. Ndubisi, if you are there, let me get your own opinion with respect to what we've had so far from the position of good governance. What the Ohaneze Ndigbo could position itself to energize good governance for the entire Igbo land. So I don't know if Ndubisi is still there with us, but if he's not, let me bring in my brother, Doctor. Doctor, can you just look at that very issue about Ohaneze Ndigbo and ensuring good governance, and also, reacting more on what Barrister Uche Okwukwu just said about the Ohaneze election, how it could be transparent, the possibility of Ndigbo generally being part of Ohaneze. Let's get your view on that, Dr. Wampo. All right, hang on, Doctor. Let us quickly take. Doctor, can you please hang on a bit? Let us quickly take our first caller from the US for his own contribution. Let's hear his own opinion with respect to what we're talking about. Then we'll continue on your response to what we're talking about. Hello, good evening. The caller on the phone, your name and where you are calling us from, please. Be very precise and very brief. Your name and where you are calling us from, please.
My name is Ibrahim, and I'm calling from the States. My contribution is precisely to the barrister, Okwukwu himself. I've listened to your agenda, and I'd like it to be more specific and more detailed. We need to realize that this is an audition for you. The Igbos who follow who they believe is interested in their interest. The Igbos who follow leaders when they see a leader. The winners may say, but once the Igbos identify a good leader, they follow him. So I'd like it to be a little more specific on how you're going to bring the people of Edo, the people of Bere, the people of Kogi, and how you're going to this organization, a people's organization. You have answered the question about the fundraising. I have an idea about the fundraising too, but let's hear you. How exactly you intend to bring the people of Kogi and the people of Bere and the people of even Crossing and Bible? These people all have indigenous Igbos. How are you going to bring them? Are you going to go through the Ezes, their Igbos, their whatever the names of the leaders, traditional rulers are? Are you going to go through them, or do you have a different plan of bringing people into Ohaneze?
All right,
unions.
Barrister, the
Even
question
in
for you.
Delta State, they
Thank you
have
very much
in
for
Edo State, they have town unions.
calling.
Unions these town unions, if you're not bringing Ohaneze from Benue State,
Barrister, go
you
on.
are
You
not
can respond to that very
linking
quickly.
not just anybody who can, oh, I'm from Benue State, I'm in Igbo, you just because, no. You now look at what are, the executives of
as members of, they will join Ohaneze and become members of the Ohaneze family. You cannot tell them they are members of Ohaneze or the Ndigbo if the constitution do not protect them. I think, my brother, with your support and with the support of the Igbo, our brothers in the media, we will be able. In fact, when I visited Eze Chukwuemeka, the Eze the 34th, I was in his palace 2 times because of my campaign at Agule. The delegation from Benue, from Edo, from Kogi, from Akwa Ibom came across river. Any the Igbo. So all Roman Agabo Ega leaders have already. Harcourt but Ohaneze family. But nobody want to join a crisis reading family or community. So all the maka emejie Ohaneze, all the attractive. Can I join now? The people be because all yadi united, all get protect interest in the Igbo, and everybody will want to join an umbrella that is large enough to protect you, not an umbrella that is torn and scattered. Kind of umbrella. So, Anna Mario, Ono, journalists, now don't know Labeke, now the bishop, now your elders, now people like Obitu Kiwe, you know. Now people like Emeka Nyoko, Hapota, Keku Kahia Basra Ohaneze, Kedoje Neze, Kauru, Ihege protect Ndigbo Nile, Nyekwano ha identity shirike. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother and president of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Barrister Uche Okwukwu. We have a caller. I'm going to come back to you, Dr. Nwankwo. Let's take this caller who is joining us from US to get his own opinion on what we're talking about tonight. Honorable Onyebuchi, you are welcome to the program. This is Matters Arising. Please, your contribution very briefly and straightforward to the point.
Thank you, Chinedu. First of all, I don't know why we are having the 2 factions in Ohaneze and Ndigbo. Why I'm saying this is Ohaneze is for unity. It's for the unification of Igbo race. And now the position of President General has been zoned to Rivers State. And Barrister Okwukwu, Uche, and Senator Azutambata, both of them were from Rivers, if I'm not mistaken. I played with Barrister because I saw the interview he granted with, I think, Rise TV a couple of days ago. To be honest with you, he has all the prerequisites to be the President General because according to his word, he started from the inception. He had the history of Ohaneze and Ndigbo. I really appreciate him, and he's supposed to be if something that is, for him. So what I'm pleading with him, although it's my personal opinion, and I have right, I'm a minority, might have their stay, but majority will have their way. I will tell him as a brother, as a friend, and as a, next door neighbor. He can go back and liaise with his brother Mbata. They don't need to be having the issues in their states. These are the reasons why most of the time the Igbos get the stuff from within the, the 5 states of the real, the Igbos full of Igbo. Because when you come to River Delta, is divided. Section is Igbo, section is other ethnic groups. So my advice to him, he's a nice man, and he fought gallantly. I wish, there is a way they can give him that. But when you look around, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have already congratulated Mbata. The 5 state governors who are behind Mbata, there are sometimes you look at the wall, you see the handwriting on the wall. A tree cannot make up a forest. If he can mellow down than going to court or trying to disguise with court action and serve for execution and the rest, I will plead with him to go to his brother and liaise with him. They work together. This is their own position. They have it. They let them sort it out and having issues at the end of the day. There won't be a real PG general before their time or their terms run out. This is my own say. Thank you very much, Chinedu. Thank you, Barrister Okwukwu, Uche. God bless you guys.
All right, thank you for your information. Let us quickly take another caller. Hello, good evening. This is BVI Channel 1, and we are live on Matters Arising. Can you quickly say your name and where you are calling us from? Be very brief because we have very little time. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Okay, good evening, sir. I'm Ozzy. I'm calling you from Benue State.
All right.
I hope you're with me.
Yes, go on with your submission very briefly, please. You have about a minute.
I want to buttress the point of my elder brother, Barrister Okwukwu. You see, the constitutional makeup of Ohaneze is very, very faulty, and I don't know why it has started for a long time now. This is the first Ohaneze president election we all became interested in. Before now, nobody knew how they did their things. But now, everybody became interested in it. And we have seen the fault because fault contained in the Constitution. First of all, the politicians, our governors are not supposed to be the ones funding Ohaneze. Because he who plays the tune, he who plays the fighter, he plays the tune. So when our governors sponsor Ohaneze, that means Ohaneze presidents and body as a whole should be dancing to the tune of our governors, and it's not supposed to be so. Ohaneze is supposed to be independent of any political organization. All right, and then Barrister Okwukwu himself have a blueprint that we all align with. He's the only one among the contestants that knows that there are Igbos in Cross River State, Igbos in Bayelsa State, Igbos in Benue, Kogi, and the rest. So his campaign, this thing aligns with us. So please, I don't know, the deed has been done anywhere, but I think we missed a person in him, and I believe it's my own president, and that is how it is. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that, your submission. The callers are still calling, but let's go back to Dr. Nwankwo for you to continue with what you are saying in summary with respect to the issue of the funding. And yeah, go on.
Yes. Yeah, just as I said earlier, if our leaders are serious about the Ohaneze, they should resign themselves to the authority of the people. Bring Ohaneze back to the people. Let the delegates come from the town unions and elect their leaders. It's just like in Lagos, it's just like in Abuja. Some members of the Ohaneze in Lagos don't even attend their town union meetings. They claim to be representing Ohaneze. On the issue of security, let me even touch on some issues my brother stated. On the issue of security, Nnamdi Kanu, I think there are, the case of Nnamdi Kanu is a mixture of legality and diplomacy. The point is that none of the leaders, because it's easy to say Nnamdi Kanu come tomorrow, it's very easy, even though it is a treasonable matter. The case is now, at a state of stalemate. It's a treasonable matter, yes, as I said, but it's also political. We can be solved politically. If the governors want Nnamdi Kanu out today, they can do it. But none of them want to take the risk because they feel that it could affect their political influence and their political future. That is one there, because they feel that none of them can control now if it comes out. So it's a contest of personal interest based on cumulative political future or the risk of your political influence. And again, somebody telling Barrister Okwukwu to consider, why must he go and meet him better? I saw that calling as insulting. meeting Mbata on with what pedigree? Because governors appointed him because President Tinubu congratulated him. So for that reason, you should now go ahead and say, "Oh, Mbata, I want to work with you." If the governors had actually shown great interest for the unity of Igbo people, the first thing they should have done is to call all the contestants, and bring them together and say, "Look, we want this thing to be unified." Barrister Uche, what is your own case? Mbata, what is your own case? Okiro, what is your own case? Isiguzo, what is your own case? They present it, and they take a decisive position. That is how leaders with vision handle matters. You don't just continue blackmailing people as a way of pushing them out of power. They blackmail Uche Okwukwu as pro-Biafra. They blackmail Okiro that he's from Imo State. Even during what is it, Modo and Madueke, they blackmail Madueke, that his wife was under whatever, on exile and embezzlement. These are Igbo problems. Where so you can't, until our leaders, as it stands now, all I know is that all the three are qualified president generals of Igbo land. Just as we said, in Igbo culture, we don't have leadership emerges. And what I'm doing today, because of my sacrifice, because of my dedication, and because of my consistency. Uche Okwukwu has been able to prove that he has been consistent. And I believe that with time unfolding, the people who will decide who will be the Ohaneze Ndigbo, not the elected, not the person elected. What is it? Professor Obiozo was there. He was Ohaneze Ndigbo for the governor of Imo State. Iwanyang was there. He was governor, president general for the governor of Imo State and the governor, not for the people. So if they are really serious for Igbo unity, as we have the Yoruba people, let the leaders show some sense of humility. And again, another problem with the Southeast, I'm not talking about Delta State. In the case of Southeast, they have a very weak traditional system, traditional leadership. In Delta State, when traditional rulers talk, even the governor of the state listens to them. Yeah, I'm the Okwukwu of Ibuzo. But the president general of my town cannot come and dictate to me what to do, much less the traditional ruler. But in Anambra State, they see president generals dictating to the traditional rulers, even electing them and so on and so forth. So we have, and the traditional rulers are even treated as civil servants, that they cannot even advise the governors. And what do you see in the Southeast? You see, what do I call it? Contractor priests, bishops, priests taking over and assuming the position of now political leadership, deciding the fate of the people. So these are also the Igbo, especially from the Southeast, they have that confused structural leadership, confused structural leadership that does not define the trajectory of the real power. You have the governors dictating by the fact of their position as governors that they are the ultimate authority. You have the priests, bishops dictating that by their own power they are the main traditional authority. You have also collectives, dictionaries, politicians, other organizations, also dictating their own zone. So we need a whirlpool, a political whirlpool, a gathering ground where all people can come out and say, look, if we are accepting Ohaneze, this is a pattern of election. This is the pattern of funding. The Jews, you see, when the Jews emerged into the 20th century, they introduced what they call a shekel identity. Every person who claims to be a Jew should donate a shekel worth of currency. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. So that just like what Uche Okwukwu said earlier about donation. Oh, 400. What is 400 naira to each person? Even a beggar on the street can raise 400 naira a year to identify himself as an Ohaneze person. And by the time you do it, by the time 1 million Igbo people do it dedicatedly, the Ohaneze will have, they have financial independence. They will not be able to tell the governors, no, look, this is our direction, you have to take this way. They have to tell the senators, you are wrong. It's not a governor dictating to them, oh, if you don't, we put you there. If you don't do it, we cannot fund you. And they go about begging for money. And because of that, they lost the moral dexterity to, to exercise their powers as the leaders of Igbo land. So we need that funding has to do with general structural amendment of Ohaneze leadership to attract other people. I am from Delta State. You see, I'm a historian, so I'm not always concerned when people talk, oh, if you are not Igbo, you are not Igbo. You don't disturb yourself whether you are Igbo. It is your own action that will make people to come with you. In the First Republic, when the Igbo people are at the height of their political energy, political influence, political power in Nigeria, First Republic, the whole of what you call today is all of them. They identify as Igbo. Most of the northern, cross river identify as Igbo. Most of the whole of them, most of the people claiming not to be Igbo, were identified as Igbo. So, but we have to look at what point, even in Chekiri, never identified as Yoruba. I was there with OPC leader as president of Igbo People's Congress in Abeokuta when the Chekiri leaders came to Mushuta Abiola Stadium to declare they are now in Yoruba. They were not answering in Yoruba. So it is the leadership, the internal dynamics of a particular people that determines the attraction of other people to that group. When the situation of leadership in Iguzo, in Igbo land, situation of distorted leadership, unparalleled disorganized leadership without focus, you don't, when people say, oh, they are not Igbo, you don't blame them. Because the leadership has to show example. At a particular point, everybody in the northern, in northern Nigeria referred as Hausa. Even the Fulani were answering that we're saying Hausa, Fulani, and so on and so on. But now a Fulani defines himself as a Fulani, a Hausa defines himself as a Hausa, and a Birom, he defines himself as a Birom. No longer Hausa. So it's the dynamics, the political dynamics, the trajectory of the moral pattern or the moral direction of the leadership that determines the centripetal force, the centripetal force of the followers, of outsiders to say, look, we accept with you or we don't accept with you. So, but at times, even the half-educated, my Igbo brothers who are not well explored, they also cause the problem. When someone says, look, I'm not Igbo, but he's speaking Igbo, you start abusing the person, even abusing his people and the rest and so forth. It does not bring, you alienate them more. When some Ikwere people say, oh, we're not Igbo, it does not mean you should not return it with insult. No, everybody has right to determine his own ethnic identity or whatever, religious affiliation. So don't insult people when they say we are not Igbo. What you do is to prove to them. And from latest, let me tell you, Igbo land does not end in a banke. It does not end in Owa Ryuzo. Igbo land in Edo State extend far more into Edo up to Ogoneki. They are bearing Benin names. Their accounts are bearing Benin names. But they speak Eka. They know the Igbo. They claim the geopolitical situation and historical experience made them to claim Edo today. Reverend Omo Bude, once the president of Pentecostal Association of Nigeria, he's an Eka man. But his town bears Edo name. They claim Edo. So these things need diplomacy. We have a lot of our people who are in Yoruba land. Omo Agege, former president of the Senate, former deputy president of the Senate, is from an Igbo-speaking town in Uyeli North. But he's also accepted. The Yoruba people know that he's Kwale, he's Igbo. But they did not stop him from being elected as their senator, representing Yoruba. They did not stop him from even contesting as a governor on the ticket of Igbo, on the ticket of Yoruba people. So even some people, some of these ethnic groups accept Igbo people. People they know that are Igbo, but have claimed to be part of them. They accept them. So in the same way, in my local government, we have Igala. Ebu is Igala. They speak Igbo. But you don't say, if a Igbo man comes today and said, "Oh, I am not Igbo," we from our side cannot disturb him. Amadi Emene, who was Assistant Secretary of OAU, was from Igbo. We also have Yoruba-speaking areas, 6 towns, pure Yoruba. speaking Igbo and the Yoruba. If some of them come out tomorrow and say, "Oh, we are not, we are not able," for us in Delta State, we cannot fight them. We cannot abuse them. But some people from the south will say, "Oh, you are saying you are nonsense." Nduka Ogbede, who was once captain of a junior golden eaglets or whatever. Nduka Ogbede, Nduka Igbo Ogbede, Ogbede is Yoruba. He's from Ubodu, a Yoruba-speaking town. In a normal land, they be Igbo and they speak Yoruba up to today. We call it Olukumi. We don't say this. We say they speak Olukumi. So we must understand. That's why we as scholars, as historians, we don't talk about Igbo people. When we are talking, we talk about Igbo-speaking people. Because when you are now talking historically, no single Igbo state of the 5 Igbo states is 100% Igbo. No. If you go back to the history, but they are all Igbo. So when we are talking about unity, we should do it diplomatically and not by force. If you claim you're not Igbo, you're not enemy of Igbo. No. If you claim you are not Igbo, we'll not explain to you why you are Igbo. As a historian, I know that Ikwereche or Hongwarada, they belong to Southern Igbo group. So they know they're Igbo. So if some people say they're not Igbo, it's not something people will go on, on social media and start abusing them and so on and so on. These things bring about disunity among the Igbo people. I'm from Igbo, so most of there's no town in Delta, there's no town in Anioma that doesn't have elements of foreigners migrating from Benin or Igala that settle among them. But they're all Igbo now. So if they claim, "Oh, we are not Igbo," you don't attack them. You tell, but you are now part of us. So that is another point of unity. So it is not just about the leadership, it's also about the followership. The Igbo man should learn how to be self-critical of himself. It's not when you criticize as an Igbo man, you are automatically defined as an Igbo hater, enemy of the Igbo. It does not work that way. It does not work like that. It doesn't work that way among the Yoruba. It only works that way among the Fulani. A Yoruba man, people attacked Abiola that a lot of people died for. There was a time they attacked him because he derailed from their own cause. That is the Yoruba pattern. I want it to be introduced in Igbo pattern. Self-criticism. When now that the governors have heard, we tell them, look, you cannot impose Ohaneze leadership on us. The government house cannot determine who leads the Igbo. If Governor Mba wants to have Ohaneze from River State to lead Enugu people, let him lead Enugu people. But they cannot determine for the Igbo people who will be the Ohaneze. Even if that man, even if Mbata is congratulated today by Donald Trump or whoever, it does not legitimize his position as an authentic leader of Ohaneze Ndigbo. The Igbo people operate by leadership emergence, by consensus, and it must stand by that. And so, if according to Constitution, as Uche Okwukwu said, that election for any new president general has to be done in that particular state, then the issue of legality will come in. It's not somebody telling him to now go and discuss on what basis. So we must be, for us to build unity in Igbo land, we must make sure that the leaders are made accountable. You don't gloss over such issues because they are not governors, they've taken their decision. No, we in Delta States, we don't do that. We Delta Igbo, that's why we said the Igbo land, we have our subcultural differences. In Igbo land, we don't. In our own side, we don't do it. If you're a leader and you deviate, we put you in your proper place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I don't know if Uche Okwukwu, barrister, what will you say in terms of summary reaction to all that people have said? Please, you have the floor.
My brother, all I say is that I want peace. I want unity. I want peace. But what is important is that first, I thank you that you are bringing people to discuss what happened in Ohaneze. Ndigbo should also demand that what is right should be done. If we get it well, if we do the right thing, there will be peace, there will be love, there will be unity. But if we are not doing it that right, if we are not getting it right, then something is wrong. If what they did, that we saw the governors marching past, we saw the big men march past, and then you think that will harass everybody, intimidate everybody into submission, Even the people watching us are not happy with us. They are not happy with us. But as I've said, I've learned how not to say something that would offend anybody. While we pray that God Almighty should guide us to the right place through the right path. Thank you, sir. Hello? Hello?
I hear you very well. I can hear you very well.
I said God should guide us to the right place through the right path. Yes.
Right, thank you so much. I'm back again to Nwankwo. How will you do your closing remark this evening in conclusion to what we've said so far? I'm talking about our brother, Dr. Nwankwo. Just very briefly so that we'll be wrapping up on today's edition.
Okay. Yes. Yes. My advice is that for some of us who are in the field of the struggle, 50% of our problems are Igbo people. Not other. Why the other 50%, 40% from other people, and 10% from our personal self. The Igbo should define, first of all, who are their enemies in this country and who are their friends, circumstantially, and thinking about it. Not work by imposition. Leadership has never been imposed. Even Dr. Zikwe had his own opposition. Even at the height of his power, he had no position among the poor people, and he realized that. So the politicians should know that we have passed the stage where a group of people will just gather and decide this is what is good for the Igbo, and then go to the national news. They bring some people, they now parade and they say this is our own view. It does not work that way, and it cannot work that way. Secondly, the followership should also try to be a bit patriotic and a bit accommodating. You don't abuse people, and then people who said who say they are not Igbo. It's not enough for you to rain abuse on them. It's not. It is for you to say, look, you are my brother. So long as you speak Igbo, we have common interests. Because during the pogrom, or if they are killing during the pogrom, many people from Cross River State were killed in the name of Igbo people. Many of them were killed. My people was killed. My people were killed. Sorry. So there are areas in which people should realize that language language identity, beyond cultural differences, mass of cultural matter in this aspect, even beyond historical origin matter in this aspect. So we should try to build unity from the grassroots up, realizing that without unity we cannot work together. I don't see the reason why a fellow Igbo man will come and slaughter his fellow Igbo man, whatever is the reason, either for the release of Nnamdi Kanu or for whatever. No, it is not proper. Or for whatever, either as unknown men, you are killing your fellow people, you are turning your town. Who are you? For the leadership from West, leadership from the West, leadership from the North, it doesn't concern them. So long as we are not killing their people, it doesn't concern them. They will even help us to kill our people more. Look at the vibrant young men that are being slaughtered every day by the security, by the security agents, for one reason or the other. Look at it. It doesn't augur well for us, for the Igbo people. So our youth have to be inculcated with that sense of unity, that sense of love. An Israeli does not kill an Israeli, does not murder an Israeli. Yoruba people, most of what we are seeing today in Yoruba land never descended upon Yoruba land. Even in church, during the height of kidnapping, they never kidnapped themselves. So let the Igbo people try to learn lessons from their neighbors and build a stronger unity. Success is not just about making money. Because as an activist, I know that the governor of Lagos State today, if he wants to destroy the Igbo, in Ndigbo, it's a question of when they just go in the midnight. They just tell the security people to go and set fire in the whole. They just go out. They just destroy all you have accumulated for the day. So that is one reason why the Igbo should talk about political investment. I've talked about political investment. It's not that when you have economy, today the Jews are controlling America. Whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, if you're a president, you must put the interests of the Jews first on your foreign policy agenda. It's because of their political investment, not because of their number. You are talking of Igbo people going to Middle Belt, going to South. Look, with your money, we want this person to be president, to be governor of Kaduna State. Bring your money. Because some of our brothers in the Middle Belt are alienated from the natural resources of this country. They don't have the money to contest election. Like in Adamawa, where Christians are majority, they continue electing Muslims. Like in Nasarawa, continue electing Muslims. Kogi State, they continue electing. Reason, because they don't have the resources. And the Sultan of Sokoto, with all his resources, money, money from the oil block, can bring billions and give a Muslim to contest election against a Christian, just for the purpose of making sure that the governor there is a Muslim. The Igbo people with their money can raise money today and go to Kaduna State, where we believe statistically, demographically, the Christians are a majority. Go to Kaduna and say, look, you from Southern Kaduna, we're going to support you financially. Contest for the governorship. When he's there, he knows that he will present the interests of the Igbo people at hand. The same thing in other people. So our Igbo people leaders, it's not about displaying money, spending more like the one that happened in Harcourt. These are arrant nonsense. Arrant nonsense. I'm not fascinated with such. If that money, that half of that money that man will have is used to sponsor a candidate for governorship in Benue State, in Taraba State, in Kaduna State, to construct for presidency, we protect Igbo interest for millennia to come. So Igbo man should not just thinking about Akudono, which can, which goes with whatever, flamboyance. We should talk about political investment in Nigeria for us to have our state fully guided and protected, to even security-wise be assured of our existence in other parts of the country. Those in America, those are brothers in America, also they're also part of the problem, because they are not learning lessons from the Indians, they are not learning lessons from the Jews. It's about dancing around in America, celebrating, carrying whole chicken on the dancing in one party or the other. They've not even been able to constitute a strong lobbying group in America that will tell the incoming president or whatever to say, look, this is our people. We want you to focus the people problems in Nigeria on the problem of our people. Our people in America are not interested in that. Or they know that if you don't vote, if you supported Trump, you are their enemy. You must support Kamala Harris or whatever. That's all they know. But they're not able to utilize the energy, their resources, in line with the Jews in America, to bring our problems to bear on those who are living in America. So this is all about, all about political investment. We were talking about political investment, not just internally, but externally. Let me just stop it here for the meantime. Thank you. That's my contribution for today.
Well, thank you, Doctor, highlight and that your conclusion. We also want to appreciate Barrister for keeping you this long. It's really a selfless service you're rendering to our people. And to you, Doctor, thank you for joining. We believe that subsequently we are going to have you more on the program. That is where we'll be wrapping it up tonight on Matters Arising. Thank you so much for joining, and for those of you who have watched this far, thank you for watching. We hope to have you guys back again next week on Matters Arising. Stay safe at all time, and remain blessed. As Ndigbo man, Chia is Ndigbo. Bye-bye for now. Chia.
One of my reasons for being here minus this is that I should come and ask you some weekend. This position of chairman had been zoned to Rivers State, chairman of Ohaneze. Yes, on weekend, the Igbo side should ask you, what is your interest?
I have no doubt that everyone in this room will love to see Ohaneze Ndigbo attain a bigger clout as the champion of Igbo interests.
Because it is now very clear that if we don't solve our problems, nobody will solve our problem for us.
Election was held on the 9th that culminated into the early hours of 10th of January 2025. In 2017, the Ohaneze elections were held in Enugu because the President General coming from Enugu, who emerged from Enugu, Chief Nyawodo, is from Enugu, and the election was held in Enugu. In 2021, it was the turn of Imo State to produce the President General. The election was held in Imo State. In 2025, it is the turn of Rivers State to produce the President General. The election was held in Port Harcourt. The election was concluded in the wee hours of 10th of January 2025. I, Dean Uche Okwukwu, former Secretary General Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, I emerged victorious in that election.
Mr. Okwukwu.
I don't know about any election that was held in Government House in Enugu.